Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, she wanted to teach me a lesson. My ex-in-laws. Ida, I stopped talking to my mother-in-law. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. She wanted to teach me a lesson. For context, husband and I have been having to live with Mil, his mom, short-term, because of financial issues. And she and I don't always get along. This sort of controlling behavior is common and is part of the problem. So, since I'm unable to work due to health issues, I tend to do most of the housework to help earn my keep in a sense. A good 90% of it. And, because my engagement/wedding ring has a bunch of nooks and crannies, I started taking it off and setting it aside while I did dishes, so I wouldn't get any food bits or soap scum in the crevices. Mil apparently thought this was unacceptable. About the third time I did this, she took my ring while I wasn't looking and hid it. She hid my engagement/wedding ring. I went into a panic searching for it, for a solid few hours, fully freaking out until she brought it to me, told me she'd hidden it away, and said it was to teach me not to take it off. I still haven't, yet, and the ring has suffered for it. There's gunk in the crevices, now, and I don't have time to get it properly cleaned. Some of the paint has faded from the soaps, as it was a cheaper ring, because husband understandably couldn't afford something fancy. But, I'm too afraid to take it off, again. I don't want her hiding it on me. Get a chain, even a cheap one, to hang your ring on your neck. She will have to fight you to get it, lol. Hell, a ribbon from the dollar store will work. I find chains get caught in my hair. This is unacceptable behavior. You're not a child who needs to be taught a lesson, and what you do with your ring is none of her business. Period. Where is your so in all this? What did he say? Honestly, it's up to him to keep his mother in check. Get a big safety pin, slide the rings on, and pin it to your shirt or pants pockets. Is this a joke? You need to talk to your husband about this. That's not okay. Sadly not. She's also tried to control what I eat, forced me to learn to cook, and so she thought I needed to learn new skills. I already knew how to cook, and so, mind you, just not to her standards, and even forced and pressured me into applying for different programs I did not want to apply for, dismissed my health issues, both mental and physical, and when I tried to set boundaries with her, she got mad and basically told me that I was being childish for trying to set boundaries. Husband has only recently started taking my side more in this issue. To everyone suggesting pockets and such, I appreciate that advice. Unfortunately, my health issues cause really bad memory issues, so if I don't have something set where I can see it, it basically doesn't exist. That's why I would set it near the sink so I could see it, remember it was there, and put it back on when I was done. If I put it in a pocket or anything, I would definitely forget it was there and put it through the wash. Do you have a necklace, or even, in a pinch, a long shoelace? Put the ring on the necklace or shoelace. That's what the vets at all my animal clinics have done when they prep for surgery. Can't have wedding rings under the gloves, that's a big risk, so most of them have a necklace the ring goes on. I've seen what looks like a tiny carabiner that holds the ring on the necklace for some of them. That was a cruel thing for her to do. I'd get a necklace and put it on there. That's so manipulative and controlling. Teach you a lesson? You wouldn't have lost it if she hadn't have hid it. My recommendation is to keep taking it off as usual, but tuck it away somewhere she doesn't know about so this childish behavior won't happen again. And, of course, move out as soon as possible. Put it in a pocket. Or purse. My ex-in-laws. So a few years ago I was engaged to my fiancé, we'll call him Dude, and my in-laws were awful. When I first met his grandparents, they asked me how often I tan, and saying my last name doesn't really fit me because my last name is straight up Polish and I am really tan. I kind of let it go, but it made me uncomfortable. Fast forward a few months of dating, he proposed despite my concerns of it only being a few months together, but I felt pressured so I said yes. That's when everything got even worse. His family insisted we move in together, so I agreed. This is when I noticed dude would get up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym just so he could talk to his mom on the phone. Throughout the day he talked to on lunch, in between classes, on the way to and from work, even if we're in the middle of something or having some private time, like in the middle of it he would stop to answer her calls. I really tried to ignore it, but it became the source of all-out arguments. Maybe I should add his mom talked in a baby voice and constantly said he was her sweet baby. Shortly after our engagement his dad and mom suddenly shifted. They hated me. They talked about how I was too nice and I was probably faking it to trap him. Then after spewing hate about me she would text me saying she loved me and it's nothing personal. Nothing personal my ass. Eventually we kind of made amends, but it was pretty terrible even at its best. A few months later was Christmas. My parents always host, but dude's family wanted to. Now please know I am not downing them for their lack of effort, but my mom goes to great lengths to make holiday meals and Christmas magic. They had their basement filled with booze and some like snack foods. We never ended up having a dinner, we just sat in the basement awkwardly staring at each other. My dad was behind the bar making a drink and dude's aunt walked up next to him. She reached down and started stroking his leg, while her husband and my mom were right there. My dad didn't tell this story until well after. Needless to say there was no joint holidays for a long time. A few weeks later dude needed to have surgery and his mom and I took him. She told the doctor I couldn't go back because I wasn't family. So I waited in the waiting room until the nurse decided that was sh*t and took me back. When I walked around the corner they were waking him up from anesthesia and she was kissing him on the lips. He was 23 and engaged and his mother is kissing him on the lips. I asked him about it later and he said that she does that sometimes. Shortly after this he actually kicked me out saying we made this decision and we think it's best for you to leave. I don't know who he is, assuming his mom, through a text. As an incentive for ending things his mother bought him a house and he tried to reach out later to tell me he was sorry and he wanted to work on thing. Obviously, I stayed so far from that family and never looked back. And that's my almost in-laws story. That entire family is messed up and needs therapy. There is definitely some incest going on. You really dodged a bullet not marrying him and his crazy family. You forgot to call him dude a little while in. I fixed it. That wasn't his name anyway, haha. I did a different name but saw that the rules asked for not even a fake name, so good catch, haha, thanks. You dodged a disaster. Hell, she dodged a nuclear missile. The incestuous trash took itself out. There was never any room for you in his life as a partner anyway, his mom already had that spot. So this is a story of a lucky escape. Thank God. You were too nice indeed, too nice to have put up with that sh*t for as long as you did. Congrats on the freedom. Haha, I know I used to regret it but I learned so much. I'm so thankful to be out. You got saved from a horrible life, but he never left his mommy at birth. I think you dodged a huge bullet there. There definitely had to have been deeper physical intimacy going on for years prior to this. You're a better woman than I am. I would have made a scene right then and there in that hospital. That is so unbelievably unnatural. So happy you escaped that incestuous disaster. Sounds like the entire family is an absolute train wreck. Which you, my dear, are not. I was pretty timid back then, now I would lose my ever-loving mind, huh? Thank you, I definitely took that experience and never did that again. Ida, I stopped talking to my mother-in-law. I stopped talking to my mother-in-law after she asked multiple times if she can take my unborn baby to India to live her and father-in-law for a couple of years. She would ask my husband, who would then ask me, and we would end up in an argument because for him his parents are alone. Being hormonal, I would always get triggered and say some harsh things like, "Mil, can her take her daughter's firstborn?" And this would annoy my husband. In the past, she has made comments like asking if I have a period every month to check whether I am fertile. She had mentioned she accepts her son to have a son so they can celebrate. I never said anything to her because she is far away and didn't bother me as much. But since I've become pregnant, I am triggered easily, and now just think, other than dwelling on silly things she says, I'm not going to call Mil and FIL anymore. I speak to them only when my husband calls, as I know she won't say anything to me in front of her son. Perks of being Asian, hey? But AITA? That's just plain psycho. Your mother-in-law is insane, and so is your husband for entertaining such foolishness from her. My Mil honestly using tears and get my husband feeling sorry for her. She called me last week while I was working with a friend over the weekend, and she started crying because I hadn't called her. She's very manipulative, and I don't understand how my husband can't see through her. Nope. NTA. I understand it could be a cultural thing, but giving up your child for a couple of years to go and stay with his parents in India so that they will not be alone is really reaching for the stars. I would ask your husband what in the hell he has been smoking if he expects you to agree with this. Don't get me started on the boy comment. You are pregnant, and not talking to her right now is totally okay. You do not need the added stress from invasive and stupid questions. I would strongly suggest you wait until you are completely out of the 4th trimester before starting to speak to her again. Remember, those postpartum hormones are just as bad as the pregnancy hormones. If they're lonely, they should get a dog, not borrow someone's baby. A child isn't a toy or emotional support animal. They're insane and shouldn't be around kids if they have that little respect for them. Is your husband some kind of mug, or was he raised to think this crap is normal? Man needs educating. Why on earth did you breed with him? It's honestly his friend's circle, and his mother is very manipulative. 2 of his friends sent their baby daughters back to India to live with their parents. And now they're grown children, and he thinks it's okay. A lot of people are saying to me, because our baby isn't born yet, he isn't attached. I just have no words. I just want to be strong enough to stand up my Mil if she asks me, because she's never asked me directly. Lay it straight to your husband that your baby is not a toy, and under no circumstances will you be sending the baby to live with your in-laws for a few years/months/weeks/days. Tell him that if he mentions this again, you will simply leave the relationship. I would also be careful with visitations in India. If they want to meet the baby, they can come visit, but I would be careful going there in case they will pull some crazy shit. This request is far from normal. This is your baby, not theirs, and it is crazy to make a request like that to you. Your partner should realize how serious you are about this. No means no, and you will not allow it. End of conversation. Wishing you all the best. This is more a husband problem than an Mil problem. There are some cultures where it is normal for the child to be raised by the grandparents because the parents work to support the family. This happens generation after generation. So, you need to have a discussion with your husband. Did this happen to him? Did his grandparents raise him? If he thinks it's okay to send his child to be raised by his parents, why does he want to have children? Does he really believe that his child is supposed to be an emotional support animal for his parents' loneliness? He has friends that have done this. His circle of friends is a group of people who think this is normal. Does he have any friends who have not done this? That raised their own children? If not, this is a problem because he doesn't have any dad friends to give him advice on raising a kid. The real issue is that he thinks this is okay and you think he is crazy. You have to get to a resolution on this, besides you saying no, because when his parents come to see the baby, they will guilt trip him into supporting them taking the baby. If he is firmly in his parents' corner on this, your relationship with him is going to be very troubled. Raising a child is not all sunshine and roses. If he wants his parents to raise the child, he is going to look at every stumble as a reason to send the child away instead of embracing raising his own child. Seriously, you and he need to discuss this whole thing and what he wants. Does he want to raise his own child, or is he agreeing because that's what his parents want? MIL can't take the baby if both of you are adamantly against it. MIL could get the baby if your husband believes this is best because he is or will be a legal parent. NTA, perhaps she should try doing some volunteering to help with babies in India that actually need help. Why would your husband even indulge this line of questioning? She has her own children, of course she cannot take yours away from you. And she's not alone, she has her husband. I would be very cautious of even letting her around your baby. You and your husband need to have some very serious conversations before the baby arrives. NTA. Oh, I know, she wants to come and stay here with us when the baby is born. I just think she can do that. I'll be able to deal with it because at least my baby will be around me, and if she does anything in front of me I'll be able to say something to her. The problem is, because she hasn't asked me directly, I can't really say anything to her, but only to my husband because he thinks he's some sort of messenger. All I keep telling myself is that without my permission no one can take my baby away from me. And that keeps me grounded. NTA, I can definitely tell your MIL doesn't really even understand the fundamentals of conception. Just because you have a period every month doesn't mean you can get pregnant. My SIL has a period every month, but still can't get pregnant because there's something wrong with the eggs she produces. Put your MIL on an info diet and look up gray rocking. Next time she ever asks, tell her when she gets her MD you'll be happy to tell her your private medical information, and lastly tell her straight up you'll be raising your own baby. If she wants one so bad, adopt or bug someone else. I have heard of some cultures where the elders take their grandbaby back to the home country for the first couple of years, and while that's fine because who am I to judge someone else's culture, it has to be okay with both parents. Usually both parents are usually used to that request as it's part of their culture. However, I'm like a lot of people and think while I understand why they want to do it, it's an outdated custom. You need to tell hubby to shine up his spine that you want to raise your baby and don't want to miss out on all the important milestones for an outdated custom, and if he wants to he can go live with them for a few years and be their baby. This is so bizarre. I don't care that it might be a cultural thing, this is your child. Personally, I'd cut contact too, you're in the right. Depending on how pushy your husband is, I wouldn't trust your child completely alone with him either. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.